Hello and welcome to coverage of the MSEM Masters 2 Sealed League. I'm Caillou, and today we're going to be watching a match between BluesEclipse and Moonhollow. So BluesEclipse, as we've already seen, is playing, he's playing blue-red Prowess Mill, essentially. The idea is Blues has a bunch of removal and gummy creatures to stick up the board, kill your opponent's creatures, and then just plays a bunch of mill to try and burn the opponent out of the game. And looking at Moonhollow's, what Moonhollow milled off of this Oracle's Vision, Island, Pyromantic, Expertise, Hate-Driven, Arsonist. All three of which are cards that I know that Blues has in his own deck. So I wonder if Moonhollow could be playing a similar blue-red spells deck. And Moonhollow does not have a turn 1 play, just playing a mountain and passing. And Blue's going to play a Wheat from Chaff. So essentially a careful study with Investigate stapled on, but the Investigate is super relevant because it triggers artifact synergies. There are lots of cards in the set which also care about being sacrificed. And drawing a card on its own for 2 more mana, not bad at all. So definitely a sleeper pick. So for context as well, one thing that should be mentioned is that all of the cards in MSEM Masters 2 are cards that have been played to some extent or another in the constructed format MSEM, which stands for Magic Set Editor Modern. It's a format made up entirely of custom cards, and all of these cards have at one point been played in its constructed life. So if these cards look interesting to you, check the link in the description for a link to the Discord server where you can find more information about the sets that are in MSEM, how to get involved with the constructed events and all that. But anyways, getting back to this round, Moonhollow is playing a main phase Consult the Dewdrops, which is basically an impulse for a non-creature spell, but Blues has the Invalidate to counter it. Which I don't know if playing, I guess the reason that for Blues to do that is that Invalidate just gets more and more dead as the game goes on, so might as well just run it out as early as you can. Then Moonhollow just going to play a land and pass, and on end Blues has his own Consult the Dewdrops, and is going to be using it to grab a Plasma Arc, which is essentially bounce spell, but also in Blues' deck it also functions to draw him a card. Okay, and on Blues' turn, he's going to be playing Erudite Aspirant, essentially just a 1-mana prowess creature. I don't know if, I feel like if the wizard cycling was relevant, Blues would have used it there. But for now, Blues, I guess, is just planning to go for a more beatdown plan. Oh, but Moonhollow has a Rogar's Frenzy. It's essentially a lightning strike, which later comes back as 2 tokens. And I guess Blues is going to try and counter this to protect the, I don't know if protecting the wizard is worth it, but we'll see. Oh, he's going to flash in a Cane Dancer and then use its flashback ability. It's essentially a side grade to Snapcaster. It allows you to cast a spell from your graveyard. You get it for free, but it has to be converted mana cost 2 specifically. So Blues flashbacks the Portal Fracture, taxes a Rogar's Frenzy for 2, so it ends up going into the grave without actually being able to kill this Erudite Aspirant over here. However, Moonhollow can still exile it from her graveyard to make 2 1/1 elementals. But it seems like instead, Moonhollow is going to be paying 4, taking advantage of Blues being tapped out for a Jakuna Tyrant. 2/2 double strike, which just grows if you allow it to deal damage to you. I bet Blues wishes that he'd held up the Portal Fracture to kill this Jakuna Tyrant instead. But anyways, on Blues' turn is going to start off the mill with Blues' first copy of Against the Waves. And wow, Moonhollow has a Watch from Above as well. It looks like this is very close to being a mirror match, if not almost exactly a mirror match in terms of deck composition. And I think Blues should cast the bounce spell right now while Moonhollow is tapped out. Just bounce a Jakuna Tyrant, and then swing in for a total of 3, and then that prevents Moonhollow from saving the Jakuna Tyrant with a counter magic next turn. So, and it also lets Blues get in for some damage. And then Blues is just going to pass, not going to play the main phase bounce spell. So on her turn, Moonhollow is just going to swing in with the Jakuna Tyrant. Blues is going to block it with the Cane Dancer. Still not going to bounce it, huh? Okay, and now is going to try and cast the Plasma Arc. And Plasma Arc on his own Cane Dancer is actually so smart. Because now he can reuse the Cane Dancer to reuse Plasma Arc. And yeah, Moonhollow doesn't have the counter magic for it. And Jakuna Tyrant still counts as blocked, so it doesn't get to grow from its Art of War trigger. That was a really smart play from Blues right there. Of course, it did run the risk of running into counter magic. Okay, main 2, Moonhollow is going to play this Dream Chaser Genie. So it looks like the difference between Moonhollow and Blues' deck is that Blues' deck is primarily focused on winning through mill, while Moonhollow's deck looks to be more of like an aggressive tempo deck with the threats that we're seeing right now. And Blues has the Unceasing Flames to be able to kill the Jakuna Tyrant. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with MSEM, because MSEM is a virtual format, we are able to do things that you wouldn't be able to do in paper Magic. Make is a mechanic that fulfills those conditions. Basically, when you cast it, you make it's a cycle, and you make 3 copies of the card when you cast it, shuffle them into your library, and they grow the more copies of them you have in your graveyard. So it's a really cool mechanic. It's a great way to provide inevitability and have like some small spells that have lower utility than you'd expect for their cost, but get better and better as the game goes on. Okay, he's going to swing in with the Erudite Aspirant. This is definitely block bait. So I think Blues is hoping that, and Moonhollow is gonna block with the Dream Chaser Genie, and I think Blues just either hard casts some sort of non-creature spell, or is just gonna, it's gonna Cane Dancer, and then but Moonhollow has a Seabreen Null Mage, and is gonna counter the ETB ability of Cane Dancer. This is a crazy interaction. And then Erudite Aspirant can't grow from the Prowess trigger, so it just ends up dying to the Dream Chaser Genie. It's a huge advantage for Moonhollow right here. The Seabreen Null Mage is also very good against, because there are lots of fixing lands which tap themselves and sacrifice themselves to create like land tokens in this set. So Seabreen Null Mage is really good at putting your opponents off their fixing through its Stifle-like effect. So Moonhollow only going to be attacking with the Dream Chaser Genie, pings Blues for 3, and then main 2 has an Arrogant Fencer. Wow. So double strike, and if it does get in, your opponent's in for a world of hurt, because then it grows into a 3-5 with double strike. Or sorry, 3-4 with double strike. So if Moonhollow has a removal spell for this Cane Dancer, I think Blues is going to die in short order. However, Blues does have a Leyline Alignment field. If Blues has a Pyromantic Expertise here, or some sort of removal spell, so yeah, is generating RR, or I guess RU. Oh, but it's just going to be straight up playing a Hate-Driven Arsonist. And then has more than enough instants and sorceries engraved to just shoot the Arrogant Fencer. And now can't block and kill the Dream Chaser Genie unless Blues decides to block with both Cane Dancer and a Hate-Driven Arsonist, but does have a way to block the Seabreen Null Mage pretty convincingly. Moonhollow is going to be playing a Mindstorm's Eye. So this is a really powerful card. Just going to be shooting the Hate-Driven Arsonist, and then refilling her entire hand. Oh, and I guess Moonhollow's last card in hand was another Mindstorm's Eye. So one way or another, a Mindstorm's Eye was getting discarded. Then Moonhollow has a Skeletal Oasis. This is one of those fixing lands I was talking about earlier that Seabreen Null Mage is really good against. And yeah, now Blues doesn't have any way to block and kill the Dream Chaser Genie, so just has to take 3 from it. So Blues is going to activate Leyline Alignment Field, and apparently has enough to make four colors right there, so it goes +1 in terms of mana. I guess it must be because of Oracle's Vision plus a white spell that he milled earlier that I didn't see. So uses 2 of it to crack the clue. Oh, and has to play a Devised Companions just to create a single construct. I'm assuming he drew this off of the Investigate. Otherwise, definitely would have cast this first so that you can get it for full value. Because if you control an artifact, you get 3 constructs. And, ooh, nice. BluesEclipse is going to be playing By the Sea. Unfortunately does not have enough lands to have the Wanderlust, but does get the single otter token. Shout out to Worlds Away for doing otters before Wizards had the courage to. Anyways, Moonhollow is going to be attacking with the Dream Chaser Genie. Blues is going to chump with the artifact. And at this point, Moonhollow is just kind of chilling. Like, Blues is down to 1 card in hand and can't really do much against what Moonhollow's playing. I believe Moonhollow has one of the Coalesce cards in graveyard and will have enough lands to cast it next turn. So Blues is going to try attacking in with the Otter to draw a card, but Moonhollow is very content with just trading the Seabreen Null Mage for it. And yeah, Blues just has to pass. So yeah, Moonhollow is just going to attack him with the Dream Chaser. Blues has to take the 3. And Moonhollow not doing anything main 2? I don't know if you can can you coalesce at instant speed? I don't think you can. But it might just be that Moonhollow has, in all of this, lost track of the fact that she has the coalesce card in grave. Meanwhile, Blue's just gonna last card in hand against the waves, mill Moonhollow for 3. Moonhollow is down to 13 cards in library. So with some lucky draws, Blues could definitely get there. But apparently that wasn't a lucky one for Blues because he's just going to pass, unless it's more counter magic. And yet, since it looks like Moonhollow has forgotten about the Watch from Above in grave, just going to swing in for another 3 with the Dream Chaser Genie and pass. I wonder what cards Moonhollow has in hand. Maybe just getting very flooded out just like Blues. And wow, Blues once again top decking and against the waves, but Moonhollow has the negate for it. So saying not today. And once again, just going to be swinging with the Dream Chaser Genie, but this time Blues is going to finally block with the Cane Dancer. Unfortunately, it just dies, but it does buy Blues a single turn, so we'll be dying in 3 turns instead of 2. And Moonhollow still doesn't have anything? Okay, Blues has a Storm Shaper Adept to block with. And once again, just swinging with the Dream Chaser Genie. Blue's going to chump with the Storm Shaper. And how does Moonhollow still not have anything? Must just have counter magic in hand. Blue's playing another against the waves. You're going to try and mill Moonhollow for 5. That's half of Moonhollow's remaining library. So if Blues draws another one off of the cantrip, then Moonhollow just dies. But Blues doesn't have it. Oh, does Moonhollow finally have a playable? Okay, he's going to Wizard Cycle. Oh no, I saw the double tap, but in fact, is going to play double Erudite Aspirant. I don't know why Moonhollow didn't do that earlier. Gonna swing for 3 with the Dream Chaser Genie. So, Moonhollow has lethal next turn, but if Blues top decks and against the waves, Blues wins. And no has the Watch from Above. It does allow Blues to draw another card, so Blues will get another chance. What did Blues hit? Oh wait, no, but Blues also has enough mana to coalesce the Watch from Above and just kill Moonhollow. Yeah, it's just going to coalesce the Watch from Above and then Moonhollow's dead now. Because now Moonhollow just goes down to 0 cards in library. Yep. So, in a match that came down to the span of 1 turn, Blues finally takes game 1. So Moonhollow opened up game 2 with a fetch land, grabbing a mountain. Let's see if Blues has an actual turn 1 play. And nope, Blues does not have one of his signature turn 1 mill spells. Interesting. And Moonhollow with the second fetch land. Thinning her library out quite a bit already and slowing herself down. I guess the advantage is though, if she didn't already have it, now has double red to play Dream Chaser Genie next turn. Blue's just playing a mountain and passing. And in Blues' deck, that could mean literally anything, especially when he has 7 cards in hand. So Moonhollow is going to try and run out a Dream Chaser Genie here. And Blues has the Portal Fracture, and attacks it for 2 and counter it. Oh, but Moonhollow has an Invalidate of her own, and therefore Moonhollow wins the counter war and gets to resolve the Dream Chaser Genie. These are some crazy matches. Okay, so Blues is going to play a land and run out Barricade Patrol. And because Dream Chaser Genie has to attack, Blues can now trade with the Dream Chaser Genie right here. So Moonhollow gonna run out a Hate-Driven Arsonist to use it to shoot the Barricade Patrol. And so Dream Chaser lives to fight another day. Blues doesn't even get the ping. Oh, but Blues firing right back with the removal has the Unceasing Flames to kill the Hate-Driven Arsonist. And also has an Against the Waves. Gonna mill Moonhollow for 2. So that's a double threat of both of the mill spells. Not the mill spells, sorry, make spells. So Moonhollow tapping 4 to try and run out the Jacuna Tyrant. Blues does have 2 mana open. Does Blues have another, Blues does not have a counterspell. So Moonhollow is just going to attack in with the Dream Chaser for 3. And yeah, Blues is in a really bad spot right now. Another Unceasing Flames, if Blues top decks one of the Unceasing Flames copies though, can just kill the Jacuna Tyrant. Or it could also kill the Dream Chaser, because it will now deal 3 damage. But instead, Blues is going to try and cantrip into it, has an Oracle's Vision, and wow, Blues mills the Unceasing Flames and the Against the Waves. That is unfortunate. Unless, of course, he top decks another copy, in which case they just grow bigger from milling them. But I think Blues really wanted that Unceasing Flames right now. Instead, he gets an island. Okay, Blues is going to activate Alignment Field to make blue, black, red. I'm assuming this is for fixing. Pyromantic Expertise. Yup, there's a Pyromantic Expertise. He's going to use that to kill the Jacuna Tyrant. Unless, of course, Moonhollow has the second Invalidate. Moonhollow does not, and so Jacuna Tyrant dies. Yeah, Moonhollow is like, I don't care if you kill my big beater, I've still got a slightly smaller beater. And this is going much like last game, with Moonhollow just continuously attacking in with his Dream Chaser Genie, and Blues just not having an answer to it or a blocker. Of course, as soon as Blues top decks an Unceasing Flames, we'll be able to kill the Dream Chaser. But that's the wrong make spell, silly. And Moonhollow has a negate for it anyways. Moonhollow said, I've been milled out once, I am not letting it happen again. Oh, but Blues has a Pierce the Storm, choosing mode 2. So, you know what? Moonhollow may have won the first counter war, but it turns out that it wasn't a counter war, it was a counter battle, and so won the battle, but it's going to be losing the war, getting milled out for 4. Moonhollow did mill a Watch from Above here, so if Moonhollow remembers this time to cast it, could increase the clock that she has on Blues. But for now, Moonhollow's main clock is just this Dream Chaser Genie, which, still kills in 3 turns. Ooh, but Blues has his own Watch from Above, gonna mill Moonhollow for 2 more. Doesn't quite have the mana to be able to flash it back yet, though. And Blues has a Weed from Chaff, just gonna dig even harder for more copies of those make spells. Blues discarding a By the Sea. Yeah, the auto tokens don't do much when you're already on the defensive, and Invalidate doesn't do much when you're in the late game. So, solid discard choices. I'm just gonna pass from there. But on end, Moonhollow is gonna play Crack Open the Cache. Which mode? Okay, so he's gonna try to destroy the artifact and then investigate herself. But Blues can crack the clue in response. Oh, it isn't going to. It's instead gonna generate mana with Leyline Alignment Field. So I'm gonna spend 2 of it to crack the clue. Also, unfortunately, Moonhollow didn't realize that by Blues making the target for Crack Open the Cache invalid, Moonhollow doesn't get to investigate herself. So definitely a bit of a blunder on Moonhollow's side of things. Oh, and Blues also has a Cane Dancer, hence why he used a Leyline Alignment Field, and Moonhollow does not have a counter magic for this. What is Blues going to be bringing back? And yup, we're going to be bringing back the Pyromantic expertise to kill the Dream Chaser Genie. And once again, this is stabilization for Blues. So yup, Dream Chaser Genie is dying. Blues is safe at 8 life. Moonhollow still needs 2 turns to be able to bring back the Coalesce creature. And even if Moonhollow does do that, I think Blues can stall out for long enough that he could potentially draw into more of the mill spell. Ooh, but Moonhollow does have a Mindstorm's Eye, just gonna poke Blues in the face. Of course, drawing more cards is dangerous when Blues has so much mill, but it looks like Moonhollow's plan is just to burn Blues out of the game. Does have the Rogar's Frenzy to Lightning Strike Blues in the face. And, you know, as a finishing touch, gonna watch from above, mill Blues for 2, draw another card. And wow, Blues mills 2 of the Against the Waves! That definitely would have ended the game versus Moonhollow right then and there if Blues got the chance to draw one of those. Blues does have the Oracle's Vision though. Gonna mill them both for 3. I think at this point, another Against the Waves will kill Moonhollow, just because of how many Against the Waves Blues himself has milled. So let's see what he got off this cantrip. And yep, there's the Against the Waves. And that's it for Moonhollow. Oh man, so close, but just not there yet. So, good games to both players, but in a crazy back and forth set, BluesEclipse on Blue-Red Spells Mill takes it 2-0 over Moonhollow on Blue-Red Spells Aggro. Yeah, Mill seems to be really powerful in Limited, especially with the virtual card advantage of the make spells. So, and I think Blues' deck doesn't, like, it has some elements to try and protect against the early game, but really, what Blues' deck really just does is, as long as you cannot kill me incredibly fast, I will just attrition you out of the game. But also, Moonhollow's deck is crazy aggressive, and I think if Moonhollow, got better luck in terms of the sequencing of her creatures, would probably have taken Blues out just straight up. Like, Blues is on 2 life right now. It's like 1 turn's difference. And it looks like Blues is going for the style. Gonna play Hate-Driven Arsonist, poke Moonhollow in the face for 17, Latent Potential on the Cane Dancer, give it plus 18-0, and attack before Moonhollow can even untap. Come on! So, kind of BM, but okay. But yeah. So it looks like Blues does have, you know, other ways of winning. Can probably just Hate-Driven Arsonist plus the Burn Make spell as another win con. So, I think I'm excited to see both of these decks compete more, because I think they're really strong, they're really synergistic, but I think there are other archetypes which they may struggle against, and I think it'll be interesting to see how they do against bigger creatures and like stronger aggressive decks. But yeah, until next time, this is Caillou.